UrbanBroadcastMedia.com, Chicago.
And around the world where your voice is heard. This is UBM Talk. The following show is paid programming and does not necessarily express the views and opinions of Urban Broadcast Media and its subsidiaries.
Thank you for listening to UBM Talk.
Welcome back to the Let's Stay Together talk show. Now here is your host, Reverend Rick McCain and author Brenda McCain.
All right. Welcome back to Let's Stay Together talk. I'm your host, Reverend Rick, with author Brenda McCain and Tracy Brown Howard. I'm going to start just saying Rick and Brenda McCain. You know, we don't need to be Reverend,
like
author.
We're going to say,
I mean, you know,
Robert and Leslie Holley.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Michael for today.
Oh,
Michael and Val.
Michael and Val. That's what I called Leslie last time. Where did that Val come? That wasn't Val. I called her Stephanie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I called her. I called her Stephanie.
Wait a minute. Dion like,
Even Dion like, yeah. You know what?
Stephanie.
I'm the oldest one here. You got to give me, word. I'm word challenged sometimes. But baby, what we got right now?
Right now we are on our segment of making marriage work, and we still talking about encouraging words or words of encouragement. But this time we're talking about it with your spouses, because we need it the most in marriages.
You know,
we really
1,000
do.
years. You got to have 1,000-year love now.
Okay, but we do have the Holleys here, Mr. Robert and Leslie Holley, who is a licensed clinical practitioner counselor. LCPC. I just love shortening it up. Thank you for joining us. I know you got a great title too, but I can't even remember. But I know you do great things. So
tell us your name, young man, again. So
speak directly in that mic so he could hear.
Yeah.
No, it's easy enough. It's Robert Holley.
Robert Holley.
Simple.
And,
Like, go by Rob.
I don't want him to just be a man, and obviously I'm acting like I'm all bad, like, hey, you don't know his name. His name is Michael, and I messed up his name. So
that's why you need to help me, baby.
Sometimes the host of the show needs to shut his mouth, but I'm working on that. So Leslie, thank you again for coming. Leslie is one of our experts that has been on here. We love Leslie because she always provides very thought-provoking information that is so knowledgeable, and we really do appreciate you. I mean, you make the show so much better, even when your name is changed. So we're talking about encouraging marriages, and I was laughing with Brenda because before the segment we was talking about 1,000 years from now, and she said she wouldn't actually love me 1,000 years from now.
I didn't say that.
We need to kind of encourage her.
We just won't be here. We'll be in heaven.
You never know what God's going to do with us.
He's going to be here.
He might make you be here for 1,000 years now. But let's talk a little bit about encouraging marriages. It just seems to be, to me, unfortunately now marriages are still ending at an alarming rate, and we're forgetting to encourage each other. Can you just tell me give me an example as to why now marriages are not as encouraging as they once be?
Yeah, well, I was actually just having a conversation about this with someone from my church who just went through a divorce, was married for 15 months after his first wife passed away, actually from cancer. Got remarried, was married for 15 months. And we really talked about this and what's going on in marriages today. And I think that we more now than ever live in this society of me. I deserve, I want, I am supposed to have, someone is supposed to do for me, instead of what I can give, what's my purpose. Using my gifts for good instead of, for getting things for myself and being greedy for myself. How can I help someone else? And I think that mentality is very prevalent in today's society.
Yeah.
And you see that in marriages. You see that with women and you see that with men. You see that with women in the sense of, I like Real Housewives. I watch a lot of that, but for fun.
Wait a minute, Robert shaking his hand like Rick.
She just lost her credibility now.
No, you didn't, girl.
All credibility is gone.
I got that little cutie over there.
Yeah, go ahead.
But no, this idea of I want to have a nice car. I want to be well kept, and I to deserve these things, right? And I think that that mentality is very prevalent for a lot of women, and I think that men feel, I am supposed to have a woman to look a certain way or to act a certain way, and she is supposed to do certain things for me. And when things get hard and things get tough, and people don't know how to cope with that, because then all of a sudden it's not about them anymore.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So, Rob, I'm going to come to you now. So I need somebody credible to talk on the thing now. Since she didn't mess me up with these what is that? Nighttime soap operas.
You can't even get it right.
Why does it seem like that? Reality shows, baby. I know everything. I just be joking. This is my time to act like a fool. No, but let me ask you this: a lot of times with men, because he's another young man that I have a lot of respect for, because when he was on the show, gave some very thought provoking and interesting answers to help out with marriage couples, and he happens to be married and has some kids. Why is it that men don't seem in some cases to realize that daily they need to encourage their wives in their relationships?
Well, I think speaking partially from experience, men sometimes, at least some, myself being one, don't really respond as well to the language of encouragement. Growing up, a lot of times as a boy, it's not necessarily the words that encourage you, it's the action. Mm-hmm. Men are very action oriented. We're very, take life by the throat. Don't worry about what somebody says, worry about what they do. Mm. And so to enter into a relationship with someone else, specifically someone that's not a man, that's a woman, they may have a completely different take on things, and they may be encouraged by words. They may need the boost, not necessarily always by action, but by telling them, hey, you look great, or hey, you really worked hard today, and I recognize that. Whereas a lot of times, men, that's just not on our mind.
It sure isn't.
On our mind is, I'm satisfied I did today. I'm trying to be on the next thing and execute and accomplish what I need to accomplish tomorrow. I ain't got time to talk about it because it's in the past.
You know what? Rob hit it right on the nose.
Coming from a woman's perspective, I guess.
Coming from a woman's perspective, because we are one of our love languages, affirmation of words. We want to hear our man telling us, babe, I miss you. You did great. You look good and all of that. But when you just said, hey, it's over with, it's done. Every day I ask my husband when he gets off of work, baby, how was your day at work? And Rick would turn at me and say, it's over. I want to just have a conversation.
Now, I'm going to go back with what Rob is saying, but I'm going to, talk with her on that. She wants to ask me about something that I don't want to talk about. And so if you're concerned about me as an individual, and I say this for all marriages, know what the person's affirmation is.
Yeah.
Don't just say, how was your day, when you know that every day that I go there, I might not be happy about going there. And I hope nobody from my show is, my thing is listening. Right. But I'm just saying, I would rather be doing something for Christ Jesus. And so I'm never going to walk away from there excited, because it's not something that I necessarily want to do. It's something that I have to do. And so, as Rob was saying, that a lot of times men are just thinking, I got to go to the next thing, because we've been trained. We've been brought up to say, I need to do this, and we're bullet point. And we don't recognize sometimes that our wives need something totally different from us. Yeah. But again, Leslie, I think sometimes women don't understand that the encouragement that they want is not necessarily what their husband or their spouse or their significant other needs.
Absolutely. And I think, what we're talking about is love languages. Everyone has a different love language. And, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages that is a great resource where you can actually assess, how do I like to receive love? And how do you feel my love tank is what they call it. And for me, it is words of affirmation. And for
and
Rob,
99.9% of women, go ahead, girl.
Right. And for Rob, it's acts of service. And so a lot of times we give out the love language that we would like to receive.
That's it. Because I always want my husband to ask me, how was your day, Brenda? And that's why I automatically do it to him, but he's like...
And she realizes after 22 years, it still doesn't work.
It don't work.
But that's the thing we've got, that I want people to understand, is that words of means that you're encouraging that person on what they need to hear,
True.
not what you want them to reciprocate to you. And I think a lot of times, Leslie, people make that mistake, is that they're trying to program that person to say what they want,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't happen because that's not what that individual needs.
Absolutely. And then a great example, I think, is in mine being words of affirmation and Rob's being acts of service. Rob does a lot of things. And a lot of times, he's feeling like, well, hey, I'm showing you because of all of these things I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, but you don't ever tell me I look pretty. That's what I need.
But I paid the bill for dinner.
See, right.
You know what I'm saying?
God, oh my God. And even Tracy back then as well. Another thing was we like to receive gifts, and I know you do that real well because that's another love language. And quality time. I know you're more quality
I'm
time.
definitely more
than
quality
I am.
time. Yeah, her quality time is watching reality shows.
Well, watch it with me one time.
And that's, Lord have mercy, I might as well go to prison.
Oh, it's
Watching
not that bad.
watching a soap opera at night. That's
It's
all
not
that
even a
is.
soap opera.
That's all it is a soap opera.
Leslie,
But
me and
that's
you
not
talk
words of
about it
encouragement,
later.
but words of encouragement you get over there.
We back
Reality
to me.
show.
Okay.
Come on.
In
Come
other
on.
words, why is it so important to uplift your spouse? That's a question that I want to know, because a lot of people say, girl, just say whatever. No, you really have to know why you uplifting them, because I always think that it's power in words. Just like you speak words of encouragement to a child, you speak it to your spouse.
So you're accent answering now? Is that what you do?
No, but she's
Okay.
more, the smart one on
okay.
this. I'm just saying Brenda's spin on it.
What's your question?
Why is it important that we speak life into our spouses?
Well, I think that your partner knows you better than anyone, right? Your partner spends the most time with you. And I think that as women especially, we have God-given gifts that we need to use to uplift our marriages and strengthen our marriages. And I think we'd be surprised at how filling it is for a wife to say to their husband, you know what, I think you're the best thing ever. I think you're the strongest person. I really appreciate everything that you do for our family, and how that uplifts their partner to continue on. And not making it about ourselves. So, the world we live in is a very stressful, very quick, fast. Everything is now. It's very fast-paced. You turn on the news, you're like, what's going on in the world? Everybody right now, I feel like, more than ever, needs that encouragement, needs to know that someone's in their corner. And, if you can't get that from your marriage, then why be in a partnership?
Yeah, and basically, because if you don't get it from your marriage, you're going to start tipping out trying to get it somewhere else.
Making love
And we don't want to sing that song again
But Rob, I'm going to ask you this question, because we need to have, the man's perspective as well, and we're thankful to have the Holleys here together with us, such a dynamic couple that they
And
are.
they look so young.
Yeah,
Like, really?
they look young for 50, don't they?
Yeah. How old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking? I know how old you are. Don't even say it on the air. Rob looked like he's 17.
I'm 36.
Leslie, if you're going to tell his age, why can't you
No,
tell her age?
women
Come
don't
on.
supposed to tell their age.
What's your age?
I'm 39.
Thank you.
You go, girl.
She ain't afraid of showing her age. She looks beautiful.
If she looks 60,
she look
then
like
she'd be
she's
worried
60.
about it.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you, if you look like you 16 and you that age, hey,
Tell it, girl.
I tell everybody. Yes. Let me tell you
right.
Wait a
something.
minute, Rob, like the question was to me now.
I'm gonna ask the question because she can do her own commercial for Revlon or something like that. She looks 16. Like, hey, there's a commercial. Leslie, I'm trying to get you some money. I'm trying to get some streams of income for you.
I'm all for it.
That's right. And now I got a new toy. Everybody gonna see what everybody look like.
So Rob, a lot of times we as men, we talk about affirmation, encouraging words and stuff like that, and we seem like that's not something that we want, but it is something that we like to hear from the person that we're with. What can we do to let that individual know that we need just as much affirmation and encouragement as our spouse needs?
I think that's a tough question that really gets to the heart of communication with your spouse. You have to be willing to, explicitly say, here's how I like to be encouraged, and pointing out, again, if we're focused more on the acts that we do, then we can reference them when we talk about it. Hey, baby, I cut the lawn this week. You know, I know I'll do it every week, but every now and then could you, let me know or, tell me that, it looks good after I, because it's hard work and, I enjoy doing it for the family, but, those words would help me out too and inspire me to do it week after week. So, it's really just a matter of communication, and you have to have that open door policy and open communication line with your spouse in order to establish that.
Yeah.
And he, once again, Rob, speaking the truth, just recently.
God, I hope that's what he does.
I'm not just saying, it's just his stuff is profound to me because it makes me think, the male perspective make me go back to you. Just a couple of weeks ago, I said, okay, I'm a stay-at-home person doing my thing at home while Rick is out there fighting that job. Fighting that job and doing what he's doing.
Love
but
my
I
job.
said, I want to give him Appreciation Day. So I said, you know what? All the people at work, it was a appreciation week on people's jobs or something. So I went out and bought the balloons, the car. I got him a nice pie and everything. I was ready that evening for him.
No, you wasn't.
I wasn't.
No, you wasn't.
I thought I was.
No, you wasn't. Go ahead.
Because I ain't having an outfit you want me to have? No.
Keep on.
But anyway, I had to show him that I appreciate him for going out there and fighting those battles and stuff. And that I always, even though I didn't do it to get it back from him, but I know sometimes he's like, God, this job is really wearing me. And he's only really happy when he's here to me. This is when I see the Rick, I'm like, God, he just lights up when he's doing stuff. But when he's home, sometimes he come in just like, okay, another day at work. I just wanted you to know, babe, appreciate it.
And I appreciate that. But here's the thing that I want couples to know that we talk about sometimes is that you've got to know, and I'll say this again, you've got to know what that person needs. Brenda did something again that she wanted to do for me.
But it was a thought of letting you know
not
I
something that
you.
I
You see how
wanted.
hard he
So
is?
what do you need?
And so
Right,
I'm
what do you need?
We know what he
I'm gonna be
needs
with my
and
boy,
what he want.
my boy, Rob over there. It's like she should have had on a sexy outfit. That's all she needed to do.
Even I know
The
what he want.
the balloons was nice. Thank you, Dion. The balloons was nice, but I don't want to see balloons.
Unless they surrounded on her. Y'all seen that?
Hey, this is a real talk show now. I don't want to see no balloons.
We all married.
I don't want to have a card. I want to open up something else.
Yeah.
I'm a married man, okay? I don't want that. So what I'm saying a lot of times with couples, you need to don't get upset when that person doesn't receive what you want to give them if you don't take the time to know what they need. You've got to be able to do that to make a relationship stronger.
Absolutely.
And Leslie, I'll go with you this, and I'm going to change it around. What happens in a scenario? What should we do to reaffirm the encouraging words when something negative happens after doing something nice? Because a lot of times people just get angry, like, I ain't going to never do anything again.
Oh, okay.
How do we work together to say my relationship with this person is more important than my feelings at that moment?
Absolutely. And I think the key is at that moment. There's a time and place for everything. So, I have a great friend that I fellowship with, my friend Donna, who she is always giving me nice ways to say things that I need or I want. She does a lot of work around the house, and sometimes she doesn't feel appreciated. So sometimes she says, hey, it would be really nice, if you would help me. It's really nice. Remember that last week when you did the dishes? I thought that was really nice, and I would really appreciate that. So there is a finessing that comes with it, especially over the years. You don't want to make the person defensive. And in the moment when someone does something nice for you, a nice gesture, you want to be able to receive that. But putting it in the back of your head, later, I kind of want to bring this up. And making it a situation where you bring it up when they're doing something that you like and highlighting that. I really liked when you did that. It made me feel affirmed. It made me feel good. And I would love to see you do that more. That makes me feel so special.
So if Rick had told Brenda, you know what, this was a really cute idea, but if those balloons had been on you instead of in the air, I'd have been much happier.
or even after, receiving it, and then, maybe a week later saying, I really appreciated that. And after I went to work, I thought, wow, what would it be like to see her just in the balloon and just seeing you and receiving you in that way? So, right, there's a finessing that comes with it.
Yeah.
We sometimes we want to take our time to think about what we want to say and how we say things.
Yeah, I say stop, think, and speak.
Yes.
And it's two of them. Yeah. and and a lot of times I think that when you do something, and especially when it's out of the ordinary, or a person, like I remember my ex-husband, I felt like he never did things specially for me. And I was kind of getting, like you said, worn out for it. Then one day I decided to surprise him. He thought he was going to a bachelor party with my brothers. And when he got to the hotel where they thought the party was, I was there, and I had like the picnic basket and, all of that cute little stuff. And we wound up spending the night away from the kids there. And
Teach, Tracy. Teach.
I ain't gonna lie, we did a whole lot more sleeping than anything else because we were so tired. But like maybe a month later, he turned it around and he surprised me and took me to a Patti LaBelle concert.
Oh, nice.
So I kind of think that that's like a kind of teaching thing, like, oh man, she likes surprises, or she liked doing that. So I really appreciated it, even though the surprise kind of got caught on the end. But I thought just him trying to put it together was a wonderful thing, and I appreciated the gesture.
That's a nice story.
And it's so important that people realize that, the important thing is about, making your marriage work is that you're working at something. You've got to work hard to know what your spouse needs. It can't just be what I want from him or what I want from her. It's got to be what do we need from each other. And, and that's why we have, excellent counselors and experts like, what's your name again, Stephanie? Leslie, that come on to the show. Leslie is one of the persons that we really love because she does give great advice. She's going to be on here with us when we talk about our relationship letters too. So she's going to be sharing that as well. Leslie, leave us with one thing that a couple should know that they need to do continuously to encourage each other.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think that it's important once a week for a couple to check in with each other, to kind of reflect on the week, talk about what they enjoyed about each other, what was helpful, and what they need going into the next couple of days. So an example of that would be, I really appreciated when you did ABC. This week, this is what's on my plate, and I'm really stressed. And this is what support looks like for me this week. And so each
we
other...
need to try that.
Absolutely. Exchanging that dialogue is nice because each person can go into the week knowing what the other needs and also what's working for their partner.
That's good. That's very good.
And like I said, we. I didn't say you.
You said you, but you just thought you said we.
I said
you said
we.
you. No, actually, what you said, I need to work on that. But Stephanie, Stephanie. I said it again. No, I wouldn't. Why did I bring up the name?
Right.
Leslie, that I really like that, and I mean. We've got to have that written down so we can share it on Facebook because what you just said there was very great to know what that person needs for that week for encouragement. That gives the individual know that I need to set myself up. It doesn't necessarily mean that's all you're giving, but you have a parameter on what is needed for that individual and what they're going to go through. They may be going out of town and say, baby, what I need for you to encourage me, to lift me up is doing this and doing that. And then you have that kind of understanding of what that person needs to a point where it gets to where you're already prepared to do those things because you know the situation is coming up. And so, as always, Leslie, we appreciate you being on the show with us. And like I said, she's going to be here with us for the duration of our show, along with her husband, Rob, who I called Michael, who I called Stephanie. So y'all have aliases already if you already know.
Stephanie and Michael.
Yeah. So we're going to go on with our show. Baby, what we got going up next?
Coming up next is Leave It in the Car, and we would love for Miss Leslie and Rob to give their input on that.
Right. You get Heart to Heart commercial coming up. This is Rick and Brenda McCain, along with Tracy Brown Howard and our boy, Dion. We'll be right back with Let's Stay Together Talk after these commercial breaks.